So, as I had mentioned in the last class, that first we will try to take one or two questions based on econometrics. I have brought all the possible questions that have appeared in the last paper of of IIT JAM Economics. You will see that the level of questions asked in IIT JAM Economics is not very difficult. You just have to remember few very basic formulas and you will be able to go ahead and you will be able to solve those questions, right? So let us try to go ahead and let us try to look at the first question. Let's try to see if we are able to solve this. So this came in IIT JAM Economics with a 2024 paper. It is an MCQ question, but for 2 marks. Okay? Try to give this question a try. We have done hypothesis testing already. First of all, try to read that it says to study the effect of x1 and x2 on y. Mane, we are talking about multiple regression model. We are talking about multiple regression model. The following regression model is estimated using a large sample. So since it is a large sample, it means that we are going ahead and we are talking about performing which test? Z test, not T test, right? It says that which of the following is correct and it is asking us to check significance. So since it is asking us to check significance, it means that we are going to go ahead for a two-tailed test. The direction is not known to us. Since it is a two-tailed test, we also know the values of Z for a two-tailed test. Here, it says at 1%, 10%, 5%. So as I told you, you need to remember all three values of the Z table for both one-tail and two-tail test. You need to remember all three values of Z table for both one-tail and two-tail test. So can you quickly go ahead and try to solve this question? You should know what is the value of Z at 1%, at 5%, and at 10%. Right? Now, look here. You are given the estimated values and their standard error. Right? You just have to create null, alternative, and try to do these three questions. Quickly try this one first before I do it. Remembering Z value is very, very important. Okay, try with me the first one. So for first, your null is alpha is 0. Your alternative is alpha not equal to 0. And how do you create the Z statistic? Alpha minus expected value of alpha upon standard error of alpha. Alpha value is 2.30. Expected is from the null hypothesis 0. Standard error of alpha is 1.15. 1.15. Quickly go ahead. Tell me what calculated value you will be getting. Z calculated. So 2.30 divided by 1.15. It's coming as 2 exactly, right? Okay. So this will be 2. So this is your Z calculated for this first parameter. Now let's put the values here. This is 1.96, 1.645, 2.5. You can just take it to decimals also. Now try to understand. Let's do at 1% first. So I am doing for alpha, the first parameter, which means this alpha is, remember, ये alpha क्या है? ये alpha ये intersection term है ना, intercept term. So I am talking about this intercept term. So its calculated value is coming as 2. Here tabular is greater than calculated, so do not reject. Here calculated is more than tabular, reject. Here calculated is more than tabular, reject. Right? Reject in the last two cases, do not reject in the first case. So it means that for the first case, for the intercept term, we are able to reject at 5% and 10%, but we are not able to reject at 1%. I am just making this complete table for you. ठीक है, तो इस हिसाब से it is statistically significant at 1%. That is incorrect because we are not able to reject null. So it is not significant at 1%. Right? Come to the second one. It is statistically significant at 1%. No. It is statistically significant at 5%. Yes, because you are able to reject null in favor of alternative. So it is significant at 5%. It is statistically significant at 5%. Yes. So C and D, for the value of alpha at least, they are correct. Okay. But at 1%, the answer is not correct. Okay. Now let's check the same thing for beta. Try to do it for beta now. So I am changing my null and alternative and doing it for the value of beta. So my null will be beta 1 equal to 0. Alternative is beta 1 not equal to 0. My z will be beta 1 minus expected value of beta 1 upon standard error of beta 1. What is beta 1 here? 0.39 minus 0 upon 0.13. It means it is 3. It means the z calculated is coming as 3. अब देखो यहाँ पे I am writing it for beta 1. For beta 1, the z calculated is more than tabular. Tabular is this. So you reject null in favor of alternative. Here also 3 is more than 1.96. Reject null in favor of alternative. 3 is more than 1.645. Reject null in favor of alternative. So we are able to reject null in favor of alternative in all three cases, right? 1%, 5%, 10%. So come here, we need to only see for C and D. Beta 1 is statistically significant at 1%. It is statistically significant at 10%. That is correct. It is significant at both the levels, right? In fact, at all three levels, we reject null in favor of alternative. So it is statistically significant. We have to take expectation of all parameter as 0. Yes, beta, because significance. So you remember what significance was mini? So if you remember, when we have this model, yi is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 x2i plus beta 3 x3i plus ui. In the last class, we did two kind of significance. एक हमने बोला था, we talked about individual, checking individual significance. And secondly, we talked about checking which significance? Joint significance. Here I told you, you need to do T or Z test. And here we were doing F test. है ना? When we were checking individual significance, कि whether x2y is significant on yi or not, so we were writing our null hypothesis as beta 2 equal to 0. This was the checking of x2y on yi. When we were checking significance of x3i on yi, null hypothesis was beta 3 equal to 0. When we were checking the significance of beta 1, then null hypothesis was beta 1 equal to 0. Because if this will be 0, अगर ये 0 हो जाता है, then this will be eliminated, this factor. It means that this factor will not be affecting yi. So to check significance, we will put this slope equal to 0. And when we did F test, the joint significance, then my null hypothesis was that both beta 2 and beta 3, they are jointly 0. Right? So yes, we have to do that. How can we form null and alternative? Again, as I have explained, null and alternative depend on which test you're doing, individual or joint. Individual mein null will be keeping individual parameters to 0 to check their significance. And yahan pe null will be to put all of them 0. And alternative also we have created. Alternative will be not equal to 0, not equal to 0, not equal to 0. Because direction is not given to us. Right? Suppose it would have asked us, suppose wo yahan pe ye bol dete, that check that the x2y parameter always has positive effect on yi. x2y parameter always has a positive effect on yi. तो उस केस में then we know the direction कि ठीक है, my alternative is that I should be having a positive effect, right? But because here I don't know the direction, here I am just checking whether this variable, is this variable affecting yi or not. So I just need to check whether the corresponding coefficient, is it 0 or non-zero. I just have to check the significance here, and that is what we are doing in this case, right? Okay, so this is going to be for your second one, which is beta 1. Up, go ahead, check for beta 2. So just put beta 2 everywhere. So beta 2 equal to 0, beta 2 not equal to 0, expected value of beta 2. So beta 2 is given as 1.80 minus 0 upon 1. This will come as 1.80. This will be Z calculated. We need to compare Z calculated with Z tabular. Okay, let's try to do this. So beta 2. Z calculated is 1.80. So we compare 1.80 with 2.56. Calculated less than tabular, do not reject. Yahan pe this is 1.96. Calculated less than tabular, do not reject null. And here 10% pay, calculated more than tabular, reject null. So only at 10%, we are able to go ahead and say that we can reject null in favor of alternative. That means only at 10%, this is not equal to 0. It is significant. Jahan pe we are not able to reject null, it means that this is 0. And if it is 0, so that variable, it doesn't affect y because this goes to 0. So this will be eliminated. So there is no significance, right? So significance is existing only here when calculated is more than tabular. That means at 10%. So beta 2 is significant only at 10%, statistically significant only at 10%. So yes, all of you are correct. Whoever said that the answer to the question is C, that is the correct answer. The answer will in fact be C. So you see that all that you have to go ahead and you have to understand here is how to do basic hypothesis testing.